Hey guys, welcome to another video. Happy New Year. So as you guys saw from my recent video, I acquired a Nikon Zf for Christmas, and just like I wanted to try it out initially and see how I felt about the camera doing street photography. And I can say again from that video, I was really impressed with what I was able to get, what I was able to do with this camera with the 40mm lens on. 40mm lens, as you guys know, is my favorite focal length when doing street to begin with. So was happy with the 24 megapixels and the detail I got from that. When detail mattered, definitely was happy. I was able to maneuver with the camera a lot easier than I anticipated, since it still is new to me. Not like the Z8, it doesn't have all the features, and the Z8 is just loaded with a bunch of feature sets and buttons and things for you to do stuff with, and I'm still learning that camera. So no difference there than the Fuji system or any system where you go from a flagship level camera down to the lower level cameras and lose features, lose buttons, and have to learn that camera and how to use it, even though it's in the same ecosystem as the flagship. So that being said, I had the opportunity to use this camera and test it out while doing a photo shoot with some friends. It was a Christmas shoot, and I have to honestly say that I didn't know what to expect. I used the Tamron 35 to 150 lens I have that I use for the projects for event photography and still do use. And so that lens on this camera is, it's pretty big. And I'm gonna show you guys here real quick what I mean. And then when you put on it the trigger for the Godox flashes that I was using, it made for a pretty, pronounced profile. And it's heavy, because of course, the lens, which is an f2 to 2.8, 35 to 150. So holding this by the grip, even though the small rig grip helps out a lot when you for comfort, it doesn't really help in this situation. I pretty much primarily shot holding this lens, which I do when the which is what I do when I have the Z8 connected to this. So it did make for some awkward moments where I hit buttons because I was trying to, finagle and maneuver with the camera body, getting angles that I wanted for some of the images. But as you guys can see, this is super front heavy because this lens is long and it's heavy. It's nice that this lens gave me a number of focal lengths at f2 if I wanted it, but when you're shooting flash, unless you're really trying to be creative with the f-stop, I am at least generally shooting around the f8 mark, plus or minus a stop, to make sure I have everything in focus that I want in focus. But let me go ahead and show you guys the video as well as the images I captured with this camera set up right here. So now that you guys have had a chance to look at that, I can give you some more feedback on the camera and so far how I've used it going out and doing street photography as well as using it in studio. And the main thing I think most of you guys want to know is, as a Fuji shooter, did I like it? And I can honestly say yes, because I shoot GFX. So technically the GFX and the XF mount are two systems, and they're very different in how you use them. Menus may be the same, but generally shooting in studio, once you get the flash trigger on or the flash you're using on, and you shot flash and you're comfortable shooting flash, that part is the easy part. The hard part really is learning the camera system, which is still new to me. I was able to, I believe, and you tell me in the comments from the content you see, the images in a video, whether I did a good job in maneuvering with this camera. Messing with the buttons wasn't that hard. Messing with the review, I had to get around because, you know, wanting to show the artist, or I should say the models and the client images, you know, I figured that out fairly easy on the GFX and the Fuji lines as far as how to star it. And it took me a minute trying to figure out how to star the images, believe it or not. It wasn't as intuitive as I thought it was going to be on this camera, to let the models choose what they definitely wanted as images back for them that I would edit. But once we figured that out, that part was easy. I like that the fact that the images came over in black and white. When I shot in black and white, and you guys see how I'm holding this, right? This is rock solid. And Capture One does a great job of doing that even when I shoot with Fuji, so it was nice that it did it with the Nikon images in this case. Setting this up to shoot with video and having a trigger on was something new to me. As you guys see right here is where all of the flaps and stuff are, and one hot shoe, the way this cage is set up, I'm used to having a full cage around the camera like I have for the Z8 and I have for my Fujis that I shoot in studio. The XS20 actually has a full cage around it and it has multiple cold shoe locations on it. So I unfortunately had the mic, the Highland mic, dangling off to the side. Not exactly what I would want. You know, I could have easily broke that thing with it connected to this camera because of how I was moving back and forth with the camera in the studio we were in trying to get the images. So I honestly think I am probably, if I'm ever going to shoot this in studio again or do more video heavily stuff, I want to find a cage that will work with this. So small rig, if you actually are listening to my videos, give me a cage along with the grip, something like you have for the X or the Fuji line, where that metal comes all the way around, it conforms to the grip. But in this one, of course, give me some grip too, so that I can get me some more cold shoes and still have access to my ports on the side. And that's not a Nikon deal, that's more of an accessory deal, right? As far as the use of the camera and the buttons, it wasn't hard to maneuver around. It was actually fairly easy. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I've shot with the Z8 for about 3 months. And that's helped me with that, because this camera again is set up different. So I'm rambling right now and I do apologize for that, but so far so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the ZF. You guys can look at other people's reviews as far as specs and things like that. I'm not big on that, as you guys know, when it comes to the reviews. I just like to talk about my experience in using the gear that I have, and my experience with the ZF so far is very positive. Would I recommend this camera to people who are looking for something that's a retro film style, that has a nice full frame sensor on it with a wonderful number of megapixels in it that's going to give them great detail, allow them to crop in some if they want, give you good video quality with an awesome autofocus system? Yeah, I would recommend it, definitely. What I would like to see from Nikon though, and I know some folks have said it in their review, is some more lenses that are more designed to this camera, and honestly the ZF-C, because they're both designed to look like film cameras. And currently the 40mm it's a little bulky on this camera. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on and let you guys see it. Now I know after looking at things and checking out Fuji's lens, or excuse me, Nikon's lens lineup, there's a pancake lens in there, and it's the 26, and that gives you a closer profile, but it's 26, so it's wide, right? I like this 40 mil, but could it have been smaller? And that's all I can think of. Didn't get in my way when I was shooting street. Honestly, I don't think it will. I mean, I'm a person who goes out with a medium format film camera, right, and shoot. But it is nice if the lens can fit the styling of the camera, and you definitely get that with Fuji. Oh, before I end this, there is one big thing I do want to mention when it comes to this setup and the lenses as well. The aperture ring. I know a lot of folks who would love to have seen aperture rings on the 40, even the Retro 40 and the Retro 28. I think it's a nice to have, but not a must have. And that's only because when I shoot my Fuji cameras for speed, I'm using the dials. I have everything on the command dials. I don't use the aperture ring at all. I use the command dials to change the aperture. So it was an easy transition to this camera to do that. So for me, it's not a big deal at all. You adjust to what the camera is capable of doing, the limitations that you're given, and you work around them and create your art. With that, have again a good start of your year. Happy New Year, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.